Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas launched in January 2024 and is officially the largest cruise ship ever built. 7 pools, 28 restaurants, a water park, an ice skating rink, and it carries up to 7,600 passengers in a single voyage. That's not a ship, that's a small town with a buffet. Tickets start around $500 a person for a week, which sounds insane until you realize the cruise companies aren't actually making money on the ticket. They're making it on the bar tabs, the casino, the shore excursions, and the $40 photo packages they corner you into buying on your way out of dinner. Here's the part nobody mentions. Royal Caribbean Cruises is technically incorporated in Liberia. Carnival is incorporated in Panama. The two of them paid roughly zero in US federal income tax last year on combined revenue of over $35 billion. So you're not really buying a vacation. You're buying a stake in the most efficient corporate tax avoidance machine the travel industry has ever built. That's level 1. The buffet's open, but you're paying for it whether you eat or not. Level 2 is where the math starts getting weird. Quick aside before level 2. I know turtles aren't supposed to move fast, but the algorithm sure does. Right about now, YouTube is deciding whether to show this kind of explainer to more people, and the only signal it actually listens to is whether you hit subscribe and like. Half a second. Free for you, useful for me. Level 2. The premium mass cruise. Princess, celebrity. Norwegian's Haven class. You're still on a giant ship, but the food got better, the cabins got bigger, and the price tripled. A balcony cabin on a Princess cruise to Alaska runs about $1,800 per person for 7 days. Norwegian's Haven, their ship within a ship concept, where you supposedly get a private deck, private restaurant, and private bar, runs about $3,500 per person. But here's what nobody tells you about the Haven. It's not a separate ship. It's a roped off section of the same ship the regular passengers are on. There's a wall, technically 2 walls, but you're sharing the same hull, the same crew, the same engines, and the same noise. You're paying triple the price for an upgrade, not a separation. Real separation doesn't start until level 3, and level 3 is where the entire vibe of the industry changes. Level 3, Cunard Oceania Celebrity Edge Class, the premium tier. This is where cruise lines stop pretending to be water parks and start pretending to be hotels. White glove dining, dress codes for dinner, lectures on board by retired ambassadors and ex-intelligence officers. Cunard's Queen Mary 2 is actually the only true ocean liner still in service anywhere in the world, not a cruise ship. And ocean liner. There's a difference. A cruise ship is designed for warm weather circling. The Queen Mary 2 was built specifically to cross the North Atlantic in February, when wave heights can hit 50 feet without flipping. The bow is reinforced. The center of gravity is lower. It's the same shipbuilding philosophy used for naval vessels. A Queen's Grill suite on the Queen Mary 2 runs about $10,000 per person for the 7-night transatlantic crossing. Private dining, private deck, personal butler, the whole package. But here's the catch. Even at 10 grand a person, you're still on a ship with 2,600 other passengers. You're at a luxury hotel that happens to float, not a private experience. The real privacy doesn't start until level 4, and level 4 is where the prices stop making any sense at all. Level 4, Regent Seven Seas Explorer Splendor Grandeur. When Regent launched the Seven Seas Explorer in 2016, they openly called it the most luxurious ship ever built. For 5 years, that wasn't marketing copy. It was just accurate. Every cabin is a suite. Every suite has a balcony. The ship carries 750 passengers, about a tenth of what Royal Caribbean's Icon carries. The staff-to-guest ratio is roughly 1-to-1, but the real flex isn't the ship. It's what Regent includes in the price. Your flight to the port? Included. Your business class flight to the port? Included. Your hotel the night before sailing? Included. Every shore excursion at every port? Included. Every glass of wine, every spirit, every meal at every specialty restaurant? Included. A 2-week Regent cruise starts around $15,000 per person. Sounds like a lot. Until you do the math and realize you'd spend that much on a 4 seasons land vacation in Italy over the same 2 weeks before you even bought a single bottle of wine. So who's actually on these ships? Mostly people who sold something. Doctors who sold a practice, lawyers who made partner and then retired, family business founders who cashed out last year, people who have time, who don't want to think about logistics, and who quietly cannot stand the idea of being on a ship with 7,000 other passengers. Here's the part that's quietly broken the industry. Regent's pre-booking demand has gone vertical. Cabins for 2026 2027 sailings are already sold out. Some 2028 cabins are sold out. People are booking 3 full years in advance. Level 5. Silversea, Seabourn, Crystal, the ultra-luxury small ship tier. Passenger counts in the low hundreds, butler service standard, and ships that look a lot more like super yachts than they do like cruise liners. Silversea's Silver Endeavor holds 200 guests, 200, on a ship that has its own helicopter pad and carries a fleet of Zodiacs for expedition cruising to Antarctica and the Galapagos. At this tier, ships routinely carry submarines for deepwater expedition diving. Crystal's Endeavor does. Scenic Eclipse does. These aren't cruises anymore. They're expeditions where you happen to sleep in a 5-star suite. The most interesting story at this level is Crystal Cruises. The brand went bankrupt in 2022, got bought out for parts, relaunched in 2023 under new ownership with the same ships and most of the same staff. The customer list was so loyal that pre-bookings for the relaunch hit $90 million in the first month. People wired deposits for cruises on a brand that didn't legally exist when they made the booking. Per night cost at level 5, $2,000 to $5,000 per person per night, all in. So roughly $30,000 for a couple to spend 10 days in the Mediterranean. Flights, drinks, butler, helicopter tours, the whole thing. That's where most people would stop, where the brochures stop. But level 6 only launched in 2022, and it broke the entire category. Level 6, the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection. For 90 years, no hotel brand had ever owned its own ships. Hotels did hotels. Cruise lines did cruise lines. The two industries never crossed. Then, in 2022, Ritz-Carlton launched the Evrima, the first hotel-branded yacht in history. The Ilma followed in 2024. The Luminera is launching this year. The Evrima carries 298 guests. 298, compared to 7,000 on a Royal Caribbean ship. Every cabin is a suite with a private balcony. Every meal is a la carte. There's no buffet, no fixed dining schedule, no dinner sitting. You eat what you want, where you want, when you want. A 7-night Caribbean voyage on the Evrima starts at $12,000 per person and climbs past $40,000 for the top suites. But here's the actual play. Ritz-Carlton didn't enter the cruise industry. They entered the yacht industry. The Evrima looks like a private super yacht because that's the customer they're targeting. The founder, who thought about chartering a private yacht for a week, but didn't want to deal with hiring a crew, sourcing food, or coordinating customs in 3 countries. Ritz-Carlton has openly said that most of their first-year passengers came from the yacht charter market, people who had never set foot on a cruise ship in their lives. That's level 6, the most disruptive launch in the cruise industry in 50 years. But level 7 is where the cruise industry stops calling itself the cruise industry. Level 7, 4 Seasons Yachts, Aman at sea, and then the tier above both of them. 4 Seasons announced their first yacht in 2022 and is launching it in 2026. Aman, the most exclusive hotel brand in the world, announced theirs in 2024. Both ships will carry under 200 guests. Both will charge somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 per couple for the standard suites. The owner's suites will cost over $500,000 for the week. But here's the thing, these are still technically cruises. You share the ship with 200 other people. You eat in the restaurants those people eat in. You walk the decks they walk. They're stunning. They're insanely exclusive, but other rich people are also there. The actual top of the market is where you stop sharing the ship at all. Private super yacht charter. Not a cruise, a yacht. Vessels like the Octopus, the Eos, the Eclipse. $3 to $5 million per week. 370 feet long. 2 helicopters on board. A submarine in the garage. A crew of 70. 12 guests maximum. And above even that, there's a quiet tier the press releases never mention. The cruises that don't appear on any charter brokerage listing, that you can't book through any agent, that only exist because 3 or 4 families on Earth own ships and occasionally let close associates use them for a week. Remember the question from the start. What's the most expensive cruise on Earth? It's not on a list. It doesn't have a public name. The pricing is decided per trip. The crew signs non-disclosure agreements before they board. There's no ranking for it because the people booking booking it have made sure there can't be. So here's where you land. Level 1 and 2. You're getting a vacation that pays for itself in memories, worth doing once. Level 3 through 5. You're paying for what cruising actually is when it stops trying to be Las Vegas at sea. Level 6 and 7. You're paying for the absence of other people. And the higher you go, the more obvious it becomes. The luxury cruise industry isn't selling boats or destinations or itineraries. It's selling versions of the ocean with progressively fewer humans in your line of sight. By level 7, the product isn't the cruise. It's the ocean itself, emptied of everyone else. That's why the very top of the market doesn't have a brochure. You can't print "no one else is here" in a catalog. If this was useful, subscribe. I explain how things actually work, not how the brochure describes them. See you in the next one.